Hey everyone, my name is Chloe and welcome to the start of another weekly reading vlog. So today is Monday, April 6th, and as you can tell by the lighting and stuff, the weather is not great here. It's kind of warm, but it's very gloomy, and so we are just on for another week of isolation. So as far as reading goes, we just finished the Romance Takeover Buddy Read Readathon, and so I am in the middle of two romances that I started this weekend and have not finished. So I am reading Perfect Match by Fern Michaels, and I'm listening to this on audiobook actually, and it is pretty cute. It's about a woman who owns a matchmaking service, but she decides to give it to her brother while she moves to Nashville to try to be a music star. So her brother is a former NFL superstar that had an injury and is now in a wheelchair. And he's just really grouchy and dark and can't get over the losses he's suffered. And so she gives him this matchmaking business and then has her partner go in to kind of help him. But it's all like secretive. And so her partner's like really trying to get her brother's goat and like try to make him angry and stuff. So he will be motivated to like get out, do some stuff, like just something to get a fire lit under him. So his manager, best friend kind of guy is in on it too, and they're all just trying to like rile this guy up to get him passionate about something again. So that is going on. And then her name is Beth, and she goes to Nashville with her fiance to try to be a musician. But her husband or her fiance is actually the one with the talent. And so there's some stuff going on there. There's some like stalker stuff going on. She has been stalked, and so that guy kind of reappears. So it's a little bit of mystery, a little bit of romance. It's just overall pretty cute. I am just over, like I'm like 2/3 the way through it. So that is what I'm reading on audio, and then on physical book, which is ironically not up here, I'm reading the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, and this is a book I kind of put off for a while just because it's historical fiction, which is not my favorite, and it's told in letters, so it's an epistolary novel, and I have not read one of those, and I'm about halfway through it, and I am so about it. Like, I think that it being in that format kind of puts you at a distance in a way, but it also, there's a ton of characters that she's writing to and back and forth with, because she is this Guernsey is an island in the English Channel between France and the UK, and so they have formed like a book club, and she is a writer. And so she's talking to the people of the Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Pie, that it's a book club that started during World War II, I believe. And so she's talking to them about how it formed, who's in it, all that kind of stuff. And so she's talking to quite a few different people that were involved. And then there's also kind of a romance with her editor going on, but there's another guy too. So there's a little bit of a love triangle. It's good. The main character, I think I said in my last vlog, kind of reminds me of Anne from Anne and Green Gables. She's kind of the adult. She's very passionate, very kind of doesn't think about the consequences, but in a just sweet, passionate way. So I don't know if anybody else has read those two books and sees that comparison, but I think it's good. So I'm liking it for what it is. I just am not loving it because I don't care a whole lot about the book club, which is interesting to say. I don't really know why. I don't know if it's just because there's so many characters and it's kind of hard to get like deep invested in it because we're hearing about it all secondhand through letters. But I don't know. I've also heard very, very good things about the movie, so I may watch that after, but I don't know. So today we've just been hanging out around the house. Now we're going to go do grocery pickup and then either pick up some lunch or have something delivered. We have had our first case of community spread COVID-19 within our community yesterday. So things have kind of cracked down a little bit more, and within my family too, we have kind of cracked down just a little bit more because prior to yesterday, everything was people who have traveled either into the city of Kansas City or outside of the state, and then kind of brought it back to our community, but now it has spread within our community. So so things are just a little bit more stringent. And in my last weekly vlog, I had said that every day I wanted to say at least one thing that I was grateful for and that we could focus on being good throughout this. And I did that on Monday, and then never again. So I'm going to start that again this week and see if I can come up with something good every day. And if you can also come up with something good, please let me know below. So this week is supposed to be all in the 70s and I think maybe even 80s, between 60s and 80s, which is amazing. For we've had like the end of last week and this weekend was like 40s and stuff. So having nice weather will be amazing. And I think that was my thing last Monday because the beginning of last week was really nice too. So the other things I'm going to say are just that this time of isolation is very, very hard. And especially our family is my husband, myself, and my 2-year-old. And so being the sole source of entertainment for a 2-year-old is hard. She doesn't understand why people can't come over. And if they do, like, come to our driveway, why they can't come in. And so just not understanding and keeping her busy, all of that is very hard. But I know that the grass is not greener elsewhere. If I didn't have her, I know it would be just as hard, or if she was older, it would be just as hard. So having the community of people who understand is a great thing, because there's so many in technology we can connect and support each other through this time. So that's another thing I'm grateful for, and just this opportunity to spend time as a family of 3 before this next baby comes. We have way more time than we would have in any other circumstance, so we can kind of enjoy just that quiet time, the 3 of us, before our world gets rocked with another no sleeping, crying baby that kind of takes up a lot of our attention and energy. So those are my good things for today. That's what I'm reading, and we'll check in later. Bye. Hey everyone, it is Tuesday, I believe, and it's like 11:45, and we are at Walmart doing grocery pickup, and we have had a very productive morning as far as reading goes, and night, I guess. So last night I finished Perfect Match by Fern Michaels, and I gave it 3 stars, and I think that's kind of generous, because it is like 2 different stories. That, like, the first half follows one couple, the second half follows another couple, and the 2 are like not related at all. And so both of the stories are underdeveloped because they're both like neither are complete novels, and it's just a weird way of like sandwiching 2 together. So I kind of said the first one is about this guy who he was in the NFL, got injured, now he's in a wheelchair, and his sister gives him her matchmaking business, and then her partner goes in to help him and like to kind of get some passion in him. So of course that is their story, and that's the first half of the book. Then the second half follows the sister who went to Nashville to try to be a music singer despite the fact that she had no talent, and it follows her and her former stalker and her current fiance. And so that story is going on, and then it ends. And so like the 2 stories really, they're siblings, so they are related in that way, but they don't intertwine. Like, it's just this couple A's story and then couple B's story. And like I said, neither are well done. So I gave it 3 stars, maybe even a little less than that, but that was that. And then, so last night I could not sleep, and so I picked up the 4th in the Dakota series by Debbie McComber, which if you have been watching my vlogs a lot, I read the first 3 and a half a couple weeks ago. And so this 4th one is about, I've heard not good things. It's set around Christmas time. It had said I had read it before, but I don't remember doing that. But so I read it quickly, and it's about a guy named Vaughn who comes back to Buffalo Valley, and his parents were good friends with Hassie, who is Hassie's son, who is the town's pharmacist or whatever, and soda shop owner. And so then her son was killed in war. That was mentioned like sometime. And so they named the kid Vaughn after him. And so Vaughn comes back. He has just gotten out of the military himself, and he is working for this big box store, kind of like Walmart. And he is going to scout out a location in Buffalo Valley for a new branch of this store. And of course the town is very against it because it would shut down a lot of their local stuff. So it's that he and Hassie have kept in touch, and she's kind of like an honorary grandma. So he goes to the pharmacy when he gets in town. She's not there, but a girl named Carrie is working there. And so Carrie shows him around town, and it's their relationship. And it was very formulaic, very predictable, but very cute. So I gave that one 3.5 stars.
And that's it. So now I'm physically reading Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. I'm not sure what I'm going to pick up on audio. I have a couple buddy reads coming up, so I'm not sure when all that's going to go down. I'm trying to figure that out. Last night I didn't get on an update at all because we had the live show for the Romance Takeover buddy read, and that was so fun. And thank you so much to the people who came out and watched us. It was a good time, and yeah. So I am also trying to get more into podcasts because I have gone through phases with podcasts where I love them and I learn a lot from them. I like to listen to mostly parenting, food and exercise, and then faith. One and some marriage and that kind of stuff, but those are kind of the hot topic areas. So I kind of like to learn some things occasionally, and so this morning I've just been listening to different podcasts as I'm doing stuff. And yeah, so we're also, as you can probably tell from the beginning of this clip, having a very emotional day. So I think it's just kind of one of those days. But today, my great thing is that it is shorts and a t-shirt weather here. It is going to be, the high is 80 degrees. It's 79 right now, according to my car. And it's beautiful. And like, if I can be in a wardrobe of Nike shorts and a t-shirt, I am a happy camper, like pregnant or not. And so then I just sized up a size on shorts and t-shirts. And so I like feel great, feel comfortable. And we've been playing outside, playing with bubbles. And so now we're doing grocery pickup. I'm gonna go grab some lunch and head home and then eat and continue to play outside for the rest of the day because tomorrow's gonna be nice, but also really, really windy. So we're gonna try to take advantage of today, and I will get on and let you know what audiobook I pick up and if I get any further in Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. So don't forget to share your good things below, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Hey everyone, so I'm just cooking dinner, but I thought I'd take a break and update because I am just about finished with the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, and I think I'm going to give it 3 stars. I really think this book, like I can see why people love it, totally, because it's got a good story about this Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Pie Society book club kind of thing, and how they all banded together during the German occupancy. And I really enjoy their story. There's some heartbreak, there's some good stuff, there's some romance, and it's all about this girl, Juliette, and she's a writer. So we get letters to and from her, like, and everybody in the Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Pie Society. We get letters between her and her editor's sister, who is one of her good friends, and like there's just a lot of characters. And then in the second half, she goes to Guernsey, and so it's her story in those 2 places and like interacting with the people. So historical fiction is hard for me. The epistolary form was meh for me. The romance was meh for me. Overall, like I just felt like this was just an okay book, but I know that I'm the minority and I can see why other people didn't like it, or did like it. So I think for me, it's a 2.5, 3-star book. I just didn't love it. It was just okay for me. So that's that. And then I started listening to Beneath Copper Falls by Colleen Coble, and I listened to about an hour of that, and it's about an 8-hour audiobook, and I think I'm going to DNF it. And the reason is not because it's bad. It's the 6th in the Rock Harbor series, and I did some reading, and people said that like you can read them as standalones, but there's so many characters, and you can just tell there's so much backstory that like I don't necessarily need, but I want, and it would help make it a lot more clear, because right now there's a lot of relationships between people. There's like siblings and friends and people who have, there's just a lot of history and connections that I'm really, really having to focus to maintain understanding. And I think it just would be a lot better if I read the rest of the series. So I'm going to DNF it for now. I may start the series from the beginning because I think maybe it's just a 6-book series. Like I think this might be the last one. So I don't know. And I have that one on my shelf. So I don't know. Do I unhaul it? Do I not? Maybe I'll try to find the first one and see if the series is something I think is worth considering. That's my oven timer. It plays that nice little ditty. And so I'm going to go because that means I need to get the stuff out of the oven, and it's just going to do it again.
So, yeah, that's my update for now. It is 88 degrees here, you guys. It is Kansas. It was 40 degrees 2 days ago, and it's 88 degrees today. So, we've been outside all day, and my husband and daughter are out there right now. And so I'm going to finish making dinner. We're going to eat and then maybe go back out. So we'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey everyone, we're sitting outside and clearly I'm like squinty and sweaty, but I just finished the Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society, and I just want to confirm I'm giving it 2.5 stars. I see the merits of it. I think it's really good for those who like it, but I think just the language and stuff just kind of threw me off. So but the main character, Juliet, does anybody else see the Anne from Anne of Green Gables comparison? Because I totally, like, even that ending scene, I'm like, that is totally something Anne would do. And so I just really liked it. Maybe I'm crazy and by myself here, but if anybody else has read that, let me know if you see the comparison. So I'm going to pick up next is One Breath Away by Heather Guggenkoff. I've got this both physically and on ebook, and it's told in like really short chapters from a lot of different perspectives. So I'm hoping that's going to be really good. Yeah, and so that's what I'm going to do for the next day or two, and then I start a buddy read on Thursday. So stay tuned to see what that is. We'll talk to you later. Hey everyone, it is about 9:30 on Wednesday, and I was just going to get on to update. So I've been listening to more podcasts, so a little less reading, audiobook reading has been done, but I'm listening to Happier with Gretchen Rubin, and I am actually really liking that. So if you've heard of that podcast, let me know. I like that they're like 20-minute, maybe 30-minute podcasts, so they're pretty quick to listen to. And I went back to the very beginning, so it's just her and her sister, I don't know if it's still that way, but talking about routines and things that can make your day better and just make you happier in general. And so I feel like that is just kind of helpful in this time. And then last night, so when I was up in the middle of the night not sleeping, I started The Real Housewives of New York City. And my sister watches The Real Housewives of like all over the place. And I've always been like, why do you, like, not why do you waste your time, but just like, I've never gotten it. Like, to me, it just feels like drama. But it's exactly what I need right now. And it was so like good. I should not have started it because it made it really hard to fall asleep, because it's just so takes you out of your own life. Like, how ridiculous. These people have so much money and so much craziness going on in their life that it's like, oh, to have those problems. So yeah, that was what I've been doing. But then I also started Best Behavior, maybe. I can't remember what it's called. It's an e-arc from NetGalley, so thank you to NetGalley, and I believe Harlequin is the publishers, and it comes out in May, so I'll put a picture up because I'm not sure who the author is or even really what the title is. I think it's Best Behavior, and that book is really cute. It's about a woman who, she's got twin kids, and they are graduating college, and so she is going to her ex-husband's because her kids went to school in Boston where her ex-husband lives, and so she and her new husband are going to Boston to do this graduation party, celebrate with all of her ex's family, and I mean all of their combined families. And so it's just that, and she's kind of dealing with her kids got jobs, one in Chicago, one somewhere else, I don't know. So they're all going to be far away from her, and they're her only two kids. And so she's just kind of struggling with empty nest stuff. And I don't know, I'm sure some hijinks are going to ensue because the ex-husband's remarried, she's remarried, all of this family together, and everything sounds, just sounds really interesting. And you get her perspective, her daughter's perspective, the new wife's perspective. I think that's all we've gotten so far, but I'm really enjoying that. And so I have that obviously on ebook. And then this One Breath Away by Heather Guggenkoff, I am loving this. It's super, super short chapters. And so I, of course, love that. And this is about a school shooting. And so the very first chapter, it's like a couple pages. This mother is in the hospital, and you don't know why or what happened to her. And she gets a call from her 13-year-old daughter that says there's a gunman. He's got PJ, which I think is her brother. He's got PJ, and he's got me locked in a closet, and he's got a gun. And then she's just saying, I'm calling to say I love you, that kind of stuff. And then she hears a bunch of gunshots and the phone goes dead. So this is one that is like compulsively readable and just so good. I love Heather Gudenkauf. I just am loving this. I've got this on ebook too, which is really weird because it goes in chapters like by numbers, and then this one goes in chapters by name. So like it's because it switches perspective. So it's like the mom is Holly, then a couple pages later it's Augie, which is her daughter, then Mrs. Oliver, so I went through every chapter and like numbered them so I can hopefully read on both. Just because it's kind of a chunker, and I have been carrying a really small purse right now just because pretty soon I'm gonna have to whip the diaper bag back out, and so right now I've been carrying the smallest purse possible because it's just like freeing to not have to cart a bunch of stuff. Having just a 2-year-old is really nice to not have to take a bunch of stuff. So this won't even fit in my purse. So not that we're gonna be going anywhere. What am I talking about? But anyway, yeah, I'll probably be home all day, so I'll probably just read physically because that's what I vastly prefer. So those are the 2 things I'm reading. Both are really good. Tomorrow I start a buddy read, which I'll talk about tomorrow. And today it's going to be 80 something again, and windy though. So because then tomorrow it's like in the 50s. So I posted on Instagram last night a picture of this book by Next to Sidewalk Chalk, and I said, the book cover says winter, the sidewalk chalk says summer, and we live in Kansas, so we get both in the same week. So because we had 40s a couple days ago, 80s, almost 90 yesterday, and hot today, cold tomorrow, whatever. This weather's crazy. So my daughter just dumped her 96 pack of crayons all in the wedge of the between the couch and the table. So we're gonna clean those up, and then we're gonna go outside, and we're not coming in until lunchtime because I think the wind is supposed to pick up this afternoon. So we're going to try to do that, and then we've got some other fun stuff planned for this afternoon. So that's the plan. I will update later. Bye. Hey everyone, so it's about 5:30 on Wednesday, and I just thought I'd get on an update because I finished Best Behavior by Wendy Francis. And this is a NetGalley book that I got. It was actually my first ever NetGalley book that I was approved for, and I was so excited. I joined NetGalley and got on and requested a few things, but I had heard be very minimal in what you request. So I requested a bunch of things and got 2 things, and I was so excited, and this is one of them. So it comes out May 5th, and so it's about a month still, but it was very cute. I gave it 4 stars. It's a story about a woman who her twins are graduating college, and they are moving to Chicago and North Dakota respectively, and she lives on the East Coast. I might have said she didn't live in Boston where her husband and the kids live, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, but I know she does live on the East Coast. So yeah, so her kids are going to be about 1,000 miles away from her, and so she's freaking out about that. And then they are all getting together for graduation festivities. So her new husband, her ex-husband, and his new wife, who is 9 years older than the kids, and then also his parents, his in-laws, her parents, just the whole crew is coming together. So she's going to try to be on her best behavior, hence the title of the book. And I thought it was just really cute, really entertaining. There was some drug issues with multiple members of the family that were talked about. There was some academic cheating issues that were talked about. And there's one of the twins that is kind of thought of as the golden one, and then one that's kind of second best. And I really liked how this book made you see the gray area in that. Both are involved in their own things, and it's kind of the opposite of what you would expect, which really just shows us that people are not good or bad, or things aren't black and white like that. And so I really liked that. And there's a lot of crazy hijinks that go on, but it's not cheesy. I thought it was still entertaining. The writing style flowed really well. I really enjoyed it, and the end was a very nice ending. So I would highly recommend you pick that one up when it comes out. Like I said, it's May 5th. So ebook, physical, whatever. I really liked it, and I would like to read more from Wendy Francis. So now I'm going to make dinner, and then I forgot we have a Zoom meeting tonight with some of our friends. So there's a group, actually, my husband is from a farm town of very small population, and their graduating class was maybe 20. I'm not sure if that, I don't know how many it was, but it was not a lot. And there's 5 of them that keep in very close touch. And so the 5 of them, now, like the wives and husbands, because it's a mixed gender group, whatever, we all just stay in touch. And so it's the 5 of us all Zooming with our kids and that kind of stuff. And so that will be fun. That's at 7. And we just kind of had like a crazy morning. So my daughter is feeling like the isolation and the 2-year-old crazy female hormones or something. I don't know what's going on with her. But so this morning I was like, okay, we are going outside and we are not coming in. So we went outside and took a walk, and then she decided to grab the wagon from me and fell down in the street and got a bloody knee. So then we had to walk home, get a Band-Aid, like calm that catastrophe. Went back out, and then I had gotten her, I'll try to link it down below or else put a picture or something. It's a big old inflatable rainbow that you hook the hose into it and it sprinkled, like it rains down from the rainbow, and it's so fun. Well, so I turn it, my husband blows it up and she's excited about it. She loves rainbows. Yay, yay, yay. And so then I turn the water on and I'm like, okay, come on, let's run through it. Won't do it. Will not do it. And she like freaks out. And so I'm like, my daughter is the most cautious kid, which I'm so grateful for. But we have friends across the street and stuff. And I was like, gosh, I just want to call other kids and be like, come show my kid that the sprinkler is cool, because I've never met a kid that doesn't like a sprinkler. So I called my sister and I was like, what else do you do? We've done sidewalk chalk. We've done adventure walks. We've done scavenger hunts. I thought the sprinkler was my ace in the hole because it was like 85 degrees and she wouldn't do it. So then we just played outside a little bit more, and then came inside and did a prenatal Pilates class. And if you've been watching my vlogs, I was doing those like every morning when the weather was not as good. And now that the weather's been nice, I've been trying to go outside, and we just do that to try to enjoy the weather. And so I haven't been doing it, and I could totally tell, like, it's just, my muscles are tired. Maybe it's also that I'm another week pregnant or another 2 weeks or whatever since I've done it. So I could definitely feel that. So then we laid and did what my daughter calls it, getting cozy. We both got books and got under a blanket and got cozy because our basement's nice and cool. So then we read, and by the time we realized it was like 1 o'clock. So we came up, ate lunch, played for a little bit, put her down for a really late nap. And so basically my whole point is our schedule's really late. So I'm gonna go make dinner, and we're gonna try to eat quick before that Zoom meeting. And then after that, I'm going to read One Breath Away by Heather Gudenkauf, because I've gotten like no reading done in that, because I wanted to make best behavior a priority. Because tomorrow I start a buddy read of The 2 Lives of Lydia Bird. And so I don't really know anything about that, and I'm really excited to not know a whole lot about it, but I didn't want to be reading 2 women's fiction at the same time. So One Breath Away is more of a thriller, and so I really wanted to get this women's fiction done, because having 3 books going at once freaks me out. So that's what I did. That's what I'm going to do. Yes, we will talk to you later, probably tomorrow, because that Zoom meeting will probably go up until bed and bath time. And oh man, I'm just not sleeping. So I'm so excited for like 8:30 bedtime, and like as soon as it gets dark, I'm out. So probably won't check in again today, but we will see you tomorrow. Bye. Hey guys, so the blind stripes are in my face, but I was just gonna let you know it is Thursday morning, and I could not sleep last night, so I started the 2 Lives of Lydia Bird, and I am buddy reading that with Sarah from Steeped in Books, and I love her, and I'm so excited to do this buddy read. So I started it and read like 45 minutes. I've got it on audio, so I read about 45 minutes, which is about an hour and a half of the book time. And honestly, I stopped because it was just really like depressing. It was very her fiance, I think, dies. Maybe it's her husband. I don't know. He dies, and she goes to sleep, and he's there in her, like when she's asleep. So the chapters are, or the book is told in awake and asleep. And so when she's asleep, he's there. When she's awake, he's not. And so I personally have experienced that, where it's like you go to sleep and think that something bad that happened didn't actually happen. And then you wake up and you have to like face the reality over and over and over. And so it's just really depressing. That her and her husband or fiance, I'm not sure which, I need to find out, but they had a friend that was kind of a third wheel that was friends with them since they were kids, and his name is Joel or Jonah. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time, probably because I was reading at 2 a.m, but and so he and our main character Lydia are kind of coping together, and that's kind of helpful, but they're also kind of butting heads. He knows more about the death, that it was a car accident, and so he knows a little bit more than she does. And yeah, so I read probably about another 45 minutes or so this morning, which again is like another hour and a half. So I think I'm about 3 hours in, and so far it's just kind of depressing and sad. So we're downstairs. It's a cold day today, which is crazy because it was 85 yesterday, but such is Kansas. And so we're inside. We're going to do an exercise class on YouTube, and then we are going to do some Easter crafts. And so I think we will also do some coloring and that kind of stuff, and hopefully some reading, and just have an indoor day. So that's the plan as of now. I am still reading One Breath Away by Heather Gudenkauf, and so if I get a chance to read physically, that's what I'll read. Sarah and I think my goal, I haven't really told her about this, is just to finish in the next 2 days. She just kind of said, let's update as we go and just be flexible with it. So I've got another buddy read starting on Saturday, so I'm going to try to get this one done by tomorrow night. So I'm not in a huge rush. It's like an 11-hour audiobook, which is about 5.5 hours of listening time. And I've done like an hour and a half of listening time. Is that right? I think. So I have like 4 hours left, 8 hours of the book, maybe. I don't know, math and all that, you guys don't care anyway. So it won't be a huge deal to get it done by tomorrow. So I will read probably both of those at some point today, and I will update later. Bye. Hey everyone, so it's about 5 o'clock on Thursday, and I am just in my room. I came and laid down during nap time, and then my husband, he is just being so helpful, and he took an hour off. Well, he started work an hour early today, so he could take off an hour early and help me with Ainsley, and so he is doing that. He's with her, so I stayed up here for an extra hour, and I've been reading both my books. So in Heather Gudenkauf's One Breath Away, I'm about 110 pages in, and like I said, this is really short chapters. It's told from the perspective of like 5 different perspectives, and it's about a guy. He's in a school with a gun, and so you get the perspective of one of the kids. You get the perspective of the teacher in the classroom. You get the perspective of the child's mother and the child's grandfather. And I think that's all the perspectives. And so it rotates through those. I'm not sure. I haven't noticed if it like rotates through like actually, or if it just kind of jumps around. But every chapter, the longest one has been 4 or 5 pages. So this just flies by. It's really dark because you don't know what's going on. He's not like on a rampant shooting, like a shooting rampage. He is kind of holding one specific classroom hostage, and we don't know who it is. Oh, there's also a perspective of one of the cops, and so everybody, like almost every perspective, has a guess of who they think it is. Like not necessarily the person, but like the student, the daughter. Her classmate thinks she knows who it is, and one of the other cops thinks she knows who it is, and the teacher thinks she knows who it is. And so it's interesting. I have no idea who it is, why he's holding these kids ransom. Like he hasn't asked for anything, so I don't know what he wants. But yeah, so this is very, very interesting. It's a longer book. I'm not sure. Let me see if I can tell you how many pages it is. Like 375. No, maybe not even that many. 360 something. And it's not that bad. Like I said, I'm about 110 pages through. Hopefully we'll finish that tomorrow maybe. I don't know. I'm today probably not going to get a whole lot more physical reading done, but maybe. And then on my audiobook, I'm listening to The 2 Lives of Lydia Bird, and I'm over halfway through it, and I'm not liking it. And I'm so shocked because the whole like alternate realities or like what could have been trope is one of my favorites. And so I like was very excited about this one. Intentionally did not hear a whole lot about it after I heard that because I knew I wanted to read it. And it's about a woman who it's her life. Her fiance dies, so it's her life if he died or if he didn't. And I've talked about this already in a previous clip, so I'm not going to go into it too much, but still over halfway through, and I am really just like depressed and sad, and there's some stuff going on with her sister that's kind of sad, and so it's really just a big downer. I loved One Day in December, right, by Josie Silver. And so I really had high expectations for this, along with the trope I love. I just thought I'd love it. And it's just a very downer of a book. So definitely be warned if you're going to go into that, be in the right headspace. I'm still, like I would say, I'm maybe 2/3 of the way through. I'm listening on audio, so I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, so that's that. And it's also weird because I don't know, like, do I want her to move on or not? Because she has this alternate reality where her husband is still alive. And so it's like, as the reader, you don't get any closure on the relationship. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to have a happy ending or if it's going to be just a downer for good. But I'm buddy reading it with Sarah. And she, I think, is going to do the majority of her reading tomorrow. So I haven't heard a whole lot of her thoughts on it, but I'm really excited to hear her thoughts because I've heard generally good things. Like I said, I've been kind of trying to avoid the talk about this book just because I knew I wanted to read it, so I didn't want to be spoiled. And so I'm just intrigued to see what she thinks. So that's everything that's going on tonight. I had a plan to make red beans and rice, but I am having such terrible heartburn and nausea and broken record. I say it all the time. So I think what I'm going to do instead is a box of mac and cheese with peas and put some fruit and call it a win for dinner. So yeah, that's what I think I'm going to do tonight for dinner. It's going to be quick. We get to watch The Masked Singer because it was on last night, but we had that Zoom meeting with our friends, which was actually really fun. We got, between the 5 of us, there were only 4 of us there, but there's like tons of kids. There's 2, 3, 2, and then us have 1. So however many all that makes. And so it was just very wild. And like Zoom, you know, it picks up on whoever's talking. So it was like boom, 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 because all these kids are super loud. So it was fun, but we didn't get to watch The Masked Singer. So I'm super excited. I'm going to make a quick dinner. We're going to eat. Last week what we did was like a living room picnic. And so we kind of may do that again because that was really fun. And that way, like, I can just eat snacky stuff and we can still like have family dinner. We'll see. So that's it. This is a long rambly clip and we'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, so it's about 10:30 on Friday morning, and I just thought I'd get on an update because I just finished The Two Lives of Lydia Bird by Josie Silver, and I'm going to give it 3 stars. And I just was really disappointed by this book, partially because I loved One Day in December, and so my expectations were super high. And then also, like, you go in knowing it's going to be an alternate reality, where one where her fiance is alive, one where he's not. And so I wish it would have been like like sliding doors thing, where it's like, here's what would have happened if he made one decision, and here's what happened if he made another decision. So like, here's one where he dies, one where he doesn't. But instead, he dies in real life, and then she is like visiting this dream world when she sleeps by taking these sleeping pills. So you know that it's temporary, like, because she can't keep taking the sleeping pills forever. And so I couldn't get invested in like the storyline of Freddie being alive. And then I also, like, it just left her in a really unhealthy place for a really long time because of course she can't get over her fiance dying if she still is spending like half of her time with him. And so, and you as the reader also can't get any closure on the relationship. And so it was just really hard to care, like, to be invested in that half. And then also I felt like the writing style was good. It was same Josie Silver, pretty easy to get through, but it was unnecessarily long. There's also something you can kind of see happen from the beginning, and it didn't come to fruition until the very, very, very end. And I wish that would have gotten like a little more resolution a little earlier. And then there's a couple things that happened to me that just don't make sense. Like, there's something kind of tragic that happens that just felt unnecessary and just like adding grief to this already really dark and sad story. So 3 stars. Again, I like the writing style. This one just almost felt almost like a debut. Like it's like this is what you're supposed to do in a grief story, and it just wasn't done well in my opinion. And Sarah, I think, is about halfway through, and she is sharing a similar opinion as of now. She may end up liking it more or less than I did, but it's just hard to like. I don't know. It just I felt like it did not handle grief well because I felt like it the way the storyline went, it left her in a very very unhealthy place in reality, and then also yeah, it just what, and then you knew like there's no reason to invest in her and like Freddie staying alive because you know it's just dreams. So that was my thoughts. I saw Goodreads. There's a lot of really really high reviews and then some really low ones. So I don't know. It's kind of a mixed bag, I guess. So let me know what you think if you have read it. I'm also like 120 pages into One Breath Away. I didn't read that much since last time we talked, just because I went to bed and listened to Josie Silver's book. And then this morning I listened to it a little bit while I was getting ready and finished it. And then now we are down in the basement and we are going to play and do some more Easter crafts and do an exercise tape. And then we've got grocery pickup this morning. So probably won't be a whole lot of reading happening until later in the day. So I will get on an update. I also do have another Betty read starting tomorrow, which I'll tell you about tomorrow. But the book that we're doing for that is also on audio. So I don't know if I'll pick up something on audio that I can finish today or if I will just listen to podcasts and that kind of stuff. Let me know if you would be interested in seeing my podcast list because like I said, I've gone through phases of podcasts and no podcasts, and so I've got a good list that I enjoy, but I don't really listen to, the only bookish podcast I listen to is No Thanks We're Booked, and that's because I love of course I'm going to forget their names, but Life Between Words, Katie from Life Between Words, and I'll put somewhere on the screen or in the notes or something who hosts it because I love both of them. They started as YouTube channels and then became friends in real life and decided to start this podcast. And then last year they both had babies. And so I think the podcast is on a temporary hiatus. And I know Katie is back on YouTube at Life Between Words. And so whatever, they're the only bookish podcast I listen to. So if you'd be interested in seeing the other podcasts I listen to, let me know. They're mostly in the categories of fitness and food, motherhood, and then your giraffe and Sophie, and then like faith and kind of self-improvement. Like right now I'm listening to Happier by Gretchen Rubin. So there's kind of self-improvement, faith, motherhood, and then food and exercise, and a couple marriage ones. So those are what I listen to. If you want to know specifics, let me know and I can do a video about that. So this video has gone on long enough and I will talk to you later. Bye.
I just thought I'd get on an update and let you know what I started on audio. So I started How to Be a Good Wife by Emma Chapman. And this book is really interesting. It's got 3.3 rating on Goodreads. So it's one of my lower rated books that's on Goodreads. And so I'm reading it on audio. And I'm thankful that I am because the writing style is very staccato. So it's very like just short, simple sentences. And it just doesn't flow very well, I guess, in my opinion. But this book is about a woman who is married to a man, obviously, and when they got married, I guess her mother-in-law gave her a book called How to Be a Good Wife, and it's very 1950s, like, make sure you get dressed up before he comes home and all this kind of stuff. And so it's told from her perspective, but we know suffers from depression, I believe. And she is not taking her medicine. She's fighting him. I don't know if it's depression, and she's lying to him about taking her meds and stuff. And I don't know if it's depression or not because she's starting to have like some hallucinations of a girl, but we don't know. She's such an unreliable narrator. I don't know what's going on. And so I think her husband, the back says, her husband's Hector, and he very much controls all of their life because that's how to be a good wife, is to let him do that and just to be submissive. And so now it says, but now something's changing. Small things seem off, a flash of movement in the corner of her eye, moments she can't recall, visions of a blonde girl in the darkness that only Marta can see. Perhaps she's starting to remember, or perhaps her mind is playing tricks on her. As Marta's visions persist and her reality grows more disjointed, it's unclear if the danger lies in the world around her or in Marta herself. The girl is growing more and more real every day, and she wants something. So, this is interesting. I am maybe a quarter of the way through, and I am enjoying it. I think it deserves higher than the 3.3 rating so far, but the writing style is very different and very staccato and very it's all from her perspective, so it's interesting. This could definitely be hit or miss for some people depending on your taste. So that is what I'm reading on audio. I also started today Things You Save in a Fire by Catherine Sinner, and I'm buddy reading that with Tia from Tia and All the Books, and I'm so excited to, first of all, read another Catherine Sinner because I have loved everything I've read from her. I've read The Bright Side of Disaster and The Lost Husband. I have not read either of her newer things, so I'm excited to read this, and I'm so excited to do it with Tia because she's just one of my favorite channels, and so I really like watching her, and I really am excited to hear her thoughts. So we are doing the first 12 chapters today. It's going to be 3 days, I think, that we're reading it, so about a third a day, and I have read about half of it, and so far so good. This main character, if you haven't heard about it, she is a firefighter in Austin, and then she gets a call from her mom. Her mom is losing her eyesight, and so she needs some help for a year while she learns to adjust, and her mom lives in Boston. So things all happen where she ends up getting transferred to Boston, and the people in Austin, the firehouse, like they're very, very progressive, very tolerant of women, of everything. Like she says, they do like vegan bakery, bake sales, and that kind of stuff, and just very progressive, as is Austin. And so then she moves to Boston, where the chief of the fire chief or whatever said, like, women are terrible and they do not want her, even though she is like top firefighter in Austin. And so,
my apologies, I couldn't hear what you said.
I don't know how Surrey always gets activated while I'm filming, but anyway, so she's not really welcome there. So she's just trying, I'm just like there, she's just getting to Boston, and so it's exciting to see what will happen. So between How to Be a Good Wife, Things You Save in a Fire, and then I'm also still physically reading One Breath Away by Heather Gudenkauf, and that one is still really good. I just have not had the time or energy to physically read. Like yesterday, I laid down at nap time to read, and I read maybe 30 pages and then fell asleep. And so, yeah, that has just kind of been what's happening to me. So I think I'm maybe 140, 150 pages into it, and it's slow going, not because it's bad. It's even got the short potato chip chapters. But last night we also watched The Masked Singer after dinner, and so yeah, my time is spent there. And it was if you're caught up on The Masked Singer, it was the most recent episode, and I was just bummed because I had a bunch of guesses for who it was, and none of them are right. And the people that it was, or the person that it was, I didn't even know who she was. It's always a little bit of a bummer when you don't even know who the star is, because you're like, okay, cool. But like this season, there have been some shockers where you do know who the person is, and you're like, what? That she was singing that? And it's just so good. So really like that show. If you haven't watched it, check it out. And that's it. So now I'm going to do a little bit of filming. My light's kind of going in and out, so I'm going to try to get some stuff done while I have light, and then I'm going to get Easter stuff ready for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're just going to do an Easter egg hunt here at the house, just 3 of us, and really no special meal or anything because we're just not. I mean, I don't know. Everybody else, it seems like, has been like all about baking and doing all this stuff. Like I see on Instagram and everywhere that all this quarantine baking is going on, and I don't know why. I have zero motivation to do that, and I normally like it, but I think I'm just too far in pregnancy, too nauseous, too not in the mood. So no special meal is going to happen here, and that's kind of a bummer, but we'll do virtual church and an Easter egg hunt. And today we're going to dye eggs because it's supposed to be like 75 this afternoon. So we'll go outside and dye some eggs. And again, our store was sold out of dye. So I'm going to try a little DIY dye and see if it works. I don't know, it could be a disaster, but we made little, like you trace your hand and then you fold and cut it out of paper and then you fold it and make a bunny. I'll put a picture of it up. And so we did that. We've done a lot of coloring sheets. We've just done a lot of Easter crafts. We got gel clings for the window, and that was so fun putting those on, and stickers and just so much stuff. Hey everyone, it is Sunday and it's about 10 o'clock, and I just thought I'd get on an update and let you know I finished How to Be a Good Wife by Emma Chapman last night, and I'm going to give it like 2.5 stars. So it was just not the thriller for me. It is a very slow paced, not a lot happens. It's more character development, and it just wasn't, the writing style was very staccato, like I said, and very vague. So it is good because it leads to the mystery of you don't really know what happened or what's the truth. It kind of turns into a he said, she said, and the vague writing lets you really draw your own conclusions. But it also made it really hard to connect with and just not that interesting to me, honestly. So I have kind of told you about it already, but it's about this woman who she is a very unreliable narrator. We don't know. She may or may not have mental health issues, but she thinks that something happened to her before she was married. So she thinks her husband has some sort of kind of malicious intent and is giving her these pills to keep her submissive and controlled. And so you don't know, the whole story goes on. You don't know if she really has some mental health issues or if he is truly like drugging her to keep her under control. So she gets hospitalized near the end, and we're supposed to believe that she just has these mental health issues, that she's refusing to take the medicine. And in the end, it's up to you to decide what you think. So I like those kind of books, and in theory, this one is good, but it just was so slow, so vague. I just never could get interested, so it was kind of a slog for me. So 2.5 stars on that one. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but if that sounds like something you enjoy, the slower paced, more vague type novels, then definitely pick it up. So that is my thought. Otherwise, reading wise, I'm still reading Things You Save in a Fire by Catherine Center, and I'm reading that with Tia from Tia and All the Books, and I'm still enjoying it. We are finishing it tomorrow, so I don't really have a whole lot to update. I'm not sure if I love our main character. She is very, very, very confident, and that is good, but she's almost confident to an arrogant level, and I'm not sure I'm loving it. There's some fat shaming that happens in the beginning that I kind of knew about going in, and I think between that and then her abundance of confidence, it kind of makes her seem like she's kind of an arrogant person as opposed to just confident. So I'm not sure if I'm loving her, but it's not so much that I'm not rooting for her. Like, I still really want her to be happy and her love story to progress. So I'm enjoying that one a lot. And then I'm reading, I don't think I have it over here, but One Breath Away by Heather Gudenkauf. And I started reading that physically yesterday and fell asleep. Not because it's bad, just because I'm exhausted. So I'm going to try to chunk more through that. I'm on page like 200 and something, and it's only a 350-ish page book. So I don't have a whole lot left. So if I can just stay awake and stay focused, I could finish that. But the weather here is rainy and gloomy, and it's a perfect reading napping day. So yeah, happy Easter to everybody that celebrates. Yesterday we dyed eggs, and then today we are going to watch church here in just a minute. And then we are going to do a little Easter egg hunt, and then we're just kind of going to hang around because that's what we do now. And you guys, I failed again at the good thing challenge. So I think to this vlog I maybe did 2 days. So let's do a third day. So today's good thing is, let's see. Well, first of all, yesterday was beautiful weather, but I feel like my good thing is always weather. So the other good thing is, it's so dark in here you can't even see, but I have shelves and shelves of books
that are lovable, like the ones that I've loved, and I've got a couple out there that are still mysteries, like I don't know if I'm gonna like them or not, and I just love having that. That is very comforting, and in this time where the library is closed and you can't get physical books, I'm just so grateful for my full shelves. So you can always get ebooks and audiobooks, but to me, like, there's nothing like having a physical book. And so I'm very grateful for my shelves, and today that's my good thing, that I have them and that they are providing some comfort in this time, and that it's Easter. To me, that's a great, great thing. So I don't think I'll finish anything else, so I'm going to wrap it up here. If you watched this whole vlog, thank you so, so, so much. Let me know if you've read any of the books that I have read or am reading this week, and let me know what you're doing for Easter. If you have anything fun to say about this last week, let me know, and we will see you tomorrow for another weekly vlog. Bye.